Catch the Tech Branch with Marlo Anderson
and Steve Bakken
on Super Talk 1270, Saturday afternoons 1 till 4 on Super Talk 1270.
It's time for Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty, Peak Automotive and Service, and Silver Ranch.
Good Friday morning. You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken, and special events going on today. But first, coming up on the show, we're going to talk with Tom Briggle, the Bismarck Bobcats. Also, check in with the National Weather Service, find out what's going on with this system. Kind of a clipper system going through rather quickly, and we'll find out what that's going to do around the state. Winter weather advisory is kicking in this afternoon, so we'll get the details on that. Also, we're going to talk with Jane Link with the Dakota Children's Advocacy Center, and we're going to check in a couple times with Rick Ryder with Operation Christmas Morning. Rick, good morning, my friend.
Hey, how we doing?
We are good. So tell us what's going on. Operation Christmas Morning. We've teamed up with Shields, Town Square Media, and the Salvation Army this morning.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's going on. This is a one-day toy drive. There are hundreds of families in the Bismarck, Mandan, and Lincoln areas that, just can't afford to give their child a present this year. It's kind of sad. And we want to make sure that every single child in Bismarck, Mandan, and Lincoln has a toy under the tree, and this is where you come in. And we're looking for those new unwrapped toys. We're going to be right outside of the Shields entrance in Kirkwood Mall, Steve, and it's going on until 7 p.m. today. It actually starts at 10 a.m., and we'll have our big Town Square Media tent set up there. And when you drop off that unwrapped toy, we'll even give you a chance to spin our wheel of giving. We got a lot of cool prizes on there, including Shields gift cards. So, you give, you're going to get something back. And you and I both know, Steve, there's not a better feeling in the world than to give. And knowing that you're helping some child out there that's less fortunate, that's what it's all about. That's what Christmas is all about. Am I right?
And some of the corporate sponsors, they understand that, too. You take a look at Shields, so giving back to the community and helping out with events just like this all the time. So, again, you give and you have an opportunity to get back as well. So drop off a toy, do a little shopping at the mall, bring some things by the tent. Rick, I do want to give you one piece of advice. Make sure the tent's anchored down very well for today.
Well, we're actually, like I said, inside, thankfully. I mean, I'm glad we didn't sign up to do this outside because the weather outside a little bit frightful, but the weather inside Kirkwood Mall, delightful. Again, we're right outside of the entrance inside of Kirkwood Mall going into Shields. So we're inside this year, not outside. So no need to anchor anything down, but hopefully we're going to be absolutely overflown with Christmas gifts, and we really would love your help today. And come on down again. Go until 7 p.m. today. Maybe you're at work today. Over your lunch break, you can get everyone together in the office and stop on by. And like I said, you can actually buy your gifts right here at Shields. You can buy them anywhere, or you can do a cash donation. That's fine too. And again, Salvation Army, big thank you to them. They will distribute all the toys to needy children. And again, keep it all local. That's what I love. Everything is going to a Bismarck, Mandan, and Lincoln area family.
What time do people stop by, Rick?
Starting at 10 a.m., going till 7 p.m. tonight. So whatever works best for you in your schedule. And again, we got a big tent, our Town Square Media tent, right outside of Shields. Not outside, but outside the store in the Kirkwood Mall entrance. So look for us there.
The Shields entrance inside the mall, Kirkwood Mall. Make sure you stop by today. As far as the toys, what are we looking for as far as what kind of gifts? Boys, girls, unwrapped, of course. You want those unwrapped, right?
We sure do. We want unwrapped toys. The one thing that I didn't bring up, and I know this comes up every year, the one age group that gets left out a lot is teenagers because they're a little bit tougher to buy for. But Shields has got a lot of great gifts that you can pick up right here for them. But just think about what a teenager might want. I think of phone accessories. I think of things like that, But as far as boys and girls, I mean, equal on both of those. And everything from the Barbie doll craze is back, and anything you can think of that a young child would like.
Make sure you bring it by. Unwrapped new toys. Drop them off today from 10 a.m. till 7 p.m. Rick will check in with you a little bit later.
Hey, can't wait. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you. Town Square Media over at Kirkwood Mall today, just outside in the mall, just outside of the Shields entrance in Kirkwood Mall. Make sure you drop off one of those unwrapped toys between 10 a.m., 7 p.m. today. Salvation Army is going to make sure all these toys stay right here in the community. So a great opportunity to give back, a great opportunity to give to the community. Christmas right around the corner, and we want to make sure that everybody's got something in the stocking or under the tree this year. When we come back, we're going to talk with Tom Briggle, Bismarck Bobcats, coming up next on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bach, along with Tom Briggle, the owner of Bismarck Bobcats. And Tom, road trips are sometimes nice because it gives you an opportunity to, get out of the grind, the regular season, the showing up at the rink, the practice schedule, something a little different. Sometimes that's good for teams. Home field advantage, always great, but sometimes a little road trip is a good thing. You're on the road again this weekend after being on the road again last weekend, so 2 road trips back to back. Starting out the road trip, though, whoa! St. Cloud, not a bad team, not a bad hockey club. And Friday night's game, 4-3, Bobcats, great game. Won it in the shootout. And then Saturday, the Bobcats flexed their muscle a little bit.
Yeah, there was some definitely flexing going on. I'm going to have to cut this snippet of your show and send it to Lane on the nice thing about being on the road after 13 years. Lane, it's good to go on the road.
Yeah.
The travel's been tricky down to Austin and then back and then to North Iowa, then back and home for a couple and then St. Cloud and then now North Iowa again. So getting some road stuff out of the way for sure. And it's all part of the deal. I always tell the boys, those are the things when you're 50 you'll remember is these bus trips. So a lot of bonding, a lot of good stuff. So last weekend, like I said, Friday was tight, man. It was back and forth, and then they scored to tie it up down it with a minute, I think, 43.
Yeah, it was close.
And they pulled their goalie. And then, interestingly enough, I've never seen this before, and someone said you can't do it in the NHL. I can't remember why, but they pulled their goalie in the overtime session. So the puck was in our zone, and they were 4-on-3, and they just opted to do that, on their own, and just rely on the fact that they could contain the puck, which you can at 4-on-3. And so that went the distance, and we weren't able to. We were able to shoot it down a few times, but just missed the net, right? And I just thought that was interesting. So then we went in a shootout, and it was just a lot of fun. There were probably, our team travels pretty good. There were probably 50 family members sitting together down in St. Cloud, and so it was awesome.
One of the things you mentioned the overtime and pulling the goalie like that, which you could do at this level and not the NHL level. But I've had this discussion with some coaches over the years, and depending on the talent you have on the backside, there's some coaches, and there's a pretty good philosophy. It's like, we'll take a stupid penalty if we've got a lead and we know they're going to pull their goalie. We'll take a stupid penalty just so that we have the ability to ice the puck. But you got to be awfully strong on the backside and have a lot of faith in your goaltender and your defense to be able to do that. But I've known coaches over the year with the talent they've had that are like, yeah, we'll take a dumb penalty just so that we can have the ability to ice the puck at that open net.
Well, that's kind of interesting. So I'm just thinking through that. I haven't thought through, and I know we don't spend all this time on the show, but so if you take a penalty, you never go less than 3, so you add one there, so then they would be 5-on-3. And I don't know if you can ice it. I guess you could ice it. Yeah, you can ice it.
You're a man down.
That might
you can
be
ice.
A counter strategy that you see. I don't know, but I do think that you might see more of the 4-on-3 overtime play, even though points right now are relevant, it's not critical. Like you're putting yourself at risk, right? When it's too early to know how tight the standings will be, although if the history is any indicator, it's going to be crazy.
It'll be tight.
Yeah, but the boys are playing good. So on Saturday,
they played a little better than good.
Well, it was just a mess, Steve. I think, you remember last year when St. Cloud jumped our boys, Patella and a couple others, they jumped us, and it was just goofy. And
everybody was putting on the foil on Saturday night. Huh? Everybody was putting on the foil on Saturday night, Coach.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, they ended up with 118 penalty minutes. I think we had 18 penalty minutes.
Where's that rank as far as records for a game in the league? That's got to be close.
For one team?
Yeah, it's got to be close.
I think you and I went through that, and we analyzed that last year. I can't remember the answer, but part of it was, always do with St. Cloud, because right now they're just kind of, staff is a little bit too interesting for me. But, yeah, the boys basically on Saturday, they just had to, have their guard up. It was just crazy. It was nuts. It's not the way junior hockey should be. But
so, was there anything that came?
Box and we outplayed them, and they came out like goofy, and so there ended up with a score. Was it 9-2? I think.
Yeah, 9-2.
But even aside from that, if you take the combination of efforts and results, starting with most recently, it was North Iowa, and then we beat Minot on Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, and then went down to St. Cloud. And the boys are, I got to tell you, and fans, the boys right now are so fun to watch. They're moving the puck so well, both up front and on breakouts. And almost everything is tape to tape. And they're just fun as heck to watch. And we lead the division in scoring, and we have a lot of playmakers. We've made some changes, as you know. And right now, I can't wait for the right after the game last week, I couldn't wait for the next game because they're just simply fun to watch. And so
before we
mostly what this weekend brings, consistency has been a challenge. Our defensive game, I don't mean just the defensemen, but our defensive game as a whole has gotten a little better. It was struggling for a while. And, we'll see. We'll see as Lane continues to bring them along, and Hunter. We really like our team. So if they can stay healthy. And, we can keep the whole team intact. We got one over playing in Europe this weekend just because it's international, World Juniors and all that kind of stuff. So, but I think we're going to be, we're going to be a good team, and no matter what, we're going to be really fun to watch.
Tom, before we get into North Iowa, just one quick question going back to the battle royale that was Saturday. When a team mails it in, because they were it was a good game on Friday night, and then they came out on the ice, and you could just tell they were mailing it in. They just wanted to fight. Is there anything that comes out of the league as far as a scolding or disciplinary action in a situation like that? Does the league have any say in anything like that?
Yeah, without a doubt. Not so specific like on a game or to the boys, but really it comes down to you need to control your bench. And I think that you'll see some discipline here in the next few days that reflect what the league can do and should do. Just because the nature of that kind of play, like that's old school 2000 where it was goofy, right? The talent is different now, and frankly, St. Cloud has a really good hockey team. They don't need to play like that, but they're to be kind, they're under the influence, right? And so, these boys know better.
Yeah,
but that's the style apparently that they figure they need to play to win. And of course, go for it as long as no one gets hurt and we kick their butt. Who cares? I guess however they want to play. Now they're in our barn again next weekend, and I think
Should be a good weekend of
I
hockey.
think things look better. Huh?
Should be a pretty good weekend of hockey. We just got a couple minutes left, Tom. As far as this weekend, North Iowa Bulls, we just had them not long ago. What are we looking at?
Well, the boys, of course, we play them for 2, and we jumped on the bus yesterday, so hopefully the legs are good to go by today. I know they're on the ice right now. As you know, we've kind of had their number. I think we beat them. I think we beat them like 10 in a row, but they've been sneaky good in beating Austin and beating St. Cloud and then beating Aberdeen. And I think even Minot. They've kind of proved that they can win. I think we're the better team, but you got to show up, and I think our boys are kind of developing that. So, I expect to at least split, and if our defense is good, I think we'll come home with some points. And like I said, our forwards, if you want to watch, you don't have to be pitching here, but if you want to watch us play, run down the main bar tonight, for example, or Stage Stop in Mandan, because it's just so damn fun to watch. It's just the best hockey. That'll be the kiss of death.
You jinxed
really
it, Tom.
Hockey,
it's your fault. I'm telling Lane.
And you can have a good time.
I'm going to tell Lane it's all your fault. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. Talking with Tom Briggle, of course, anything Bobcats, BismarckBobcats.com. Download the app. They're going to be home next weekend at the VFW Sports Center. Of course, the home rink advantage for the Bobcats. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And it's going to be a good series back home next weekend with St. Cloud.
Yeah, the crowd's been awesome. And just really quickly, so next weekend's our Christmas weekend, right? So on Friday, there will be a cowbell special, and on Saturdays, our teddy bear toss, and we've got 500 pairs of Christmas socks for the first 500 people, and there'll be other gifts and candy, and it's just a hell of a weekend. So I would invite people to hurry up and get their tickets, because the pre-sale actually is really good already. So we'll see you next weekend, and fans, we really appreciate you. The boys just absolutely love playing Bismarck because of you.
And, of course, get your teddy bear now. Make sure you bring it next weekend, and get your tickets. If you haven't downloaded the Bismarck Bobcats app, great place for all things Bobcats, or you can go online, BismarckBobcats.com. Tom, best of luck this weekend, and we'll talk next weekend about the big Christmas weekend coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, and happy holidays, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Tom Briggle, owner of the Bismarck Bobcats. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. A little weather coming in. We'll get the details on that with the National Weather Service coming up next on Super Talk 1270.
Your destination news and ideas. RM World Travel. Sunday morning, starting at 5 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty, Peak Automotive and Service, and Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken, and joining us in the program from the National Weather Service, Zach, this morning. Zach, we've got an interesting little system coming in now. If anybody's seen all that flooding in the Pacific Northwest, all the snow totals, if you like to ski Mount Hood, pretty nice right now. But rain, and snow, and a lot of flooding. This is kind of off of that system, and the system is kind of a little different because it seems like it's going to pass through here awfully quickly, almost like a clipper system, but it's really not a clipper system per se, is it?
No, it's what we kind of consider almost a hybrid system, and what we've been calling kind of a Northern Rockies low. So it's something we don't see quite that often, but it is going to be very similar to a clipper system, with the strong winds, light snow accumulations. So basically we had the first push of precipitation come through last night, and that really started as rain in the northwest, changed over, had some accumulations of 1 to 3 inches across the northwest, north central. Here we just had a little bit of trace rain in the Bismarck Mandan area. But we are going to have a second push here later this afternoon. We have transitioned to a winter weather advisory pretty much across all of western and central North Dakota. So we are expecting maybe some rain to start the event here in a couple hours, But then sometime afternoon, we will start to see that change over to snow. We could see a good 1 to 3 inches here in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But the bigger story is probably going to be the wind blowing that snow. We are expecting that wind to kick back up again later this afternoon, and we could see some gusts upwards of 55 miles per hour. So when you have that falling snow, visibility is going to be pretty crummy in the open areas especially. So we are expecting some potential near whiteout conditions in the open country rural areas. So that's going to be really the main concern here as we move into the afternoon hours and even into the evening. Now, the precipitation should be tapering off here towards the later evening hours, but that wind is probably going to be sticking around into the Saturday morning time frame. We're looking at the highest snowfall totals probably in the north central part of the state, especially across the Turtle Mountains, where we could see closer to, say, 3 to 5 inches, maybe some locally higher amounts. So if you're traveling up there, definitely check the road conditions and the forecast before you head out. So.
We're talking with Zach, National Weather Service, and with any wind event, any wind-driven storm, one of the things that plays into that is the type of snow we get. Is it going to be a heavy, wet snow that maybe doesn't blow around as much, or is it going to be the lighter, fluffier stuff that is going to cause a lot of drifting, glazing over some of the roadways, causing visibility issues? Any determination on moisture content in the snowfall that we're expected to get?
Right, yeah, the snowfall rate should not be too heavy, but it will be that wetter variety of snow, especially because it's going to start falling closer to that freezing temperature, and that's when we see that higher water content usually in the snow. So especially with the wind, there is definitely going to be concern for some freezing over of the roads this evening and tonight. So I would not be surprised at all if we do see some of those really slippery, icy roads. So that's going to definitely be another hazard.
So we just switched over from a wind advisory to, we are in the Bismarck-Mandan area now, into a winter weather advisory.
That's correct. And so that is pretty much in our area for, 1 to 3 inches. There could be some locally higher amounts. And then that in the combination with the winds and blowing snow, those lowered visibilities are going to make travel pretty crummy here later in the day.
As far as the duration of the storm, because mentioned it is going to function a little bit like a clipper system, so it's going to move through the area pretty fast.
Right, yeah. So that snow is going to be tapering off in the central part of the state here in the early to mid-evening hours. And then the wind's going to be a little bit longer to taper off. So we could still see some blowing snow impacts overnight and into the early morning hours on Saturday, but that wind should taper off pretty quickly Saturday morning, and then during the day Saturday, hopefully will continue to diminish and conditions should improve. We will be colder behind this system, but it'll still only be in the low 30s, which is actually around normal for this time of year. It's just going to feel a lot colder with the wind, and considering we've had such warm temperatures lately. But it does look like we will kind of stick in those lower 30s through the weekend into the beginning of next week, but we will start to warm maybe even into the lower 40s again by the middle of the week next week.
Zach, music to my ears. I will take that, my friend. Getting spoiled.
Me too.
I look at it this way. We're owed this after last winter.
Last winter was definitely a difficult one. I've been here for 10 years, and that was one of the more intense stretches of winter weather I can ever remember.
Zach over at the National Weather Service, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Have a great day.
You too. Winter weather advisory now in effect for the Bismarck-Mandan area, switching over from that wind advisory. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Talk of the Town.
Good morning. Market update on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Randy Conan. Crop report out at 11 o'clock this morning. The December supply-demand report from USDA. We'll get updated ending stock supplies for both U.S. as well as world stocks as well. South American production numbers or estimates will be as well in this. Heartland Commodities and Securities market analyst Jason Winter says this has just been a very mixed market mixed and quiet market going into this report here this morning.
Kind of typically what we can see before these reports. But sometimes no fear in beans today. So who knows? Maybe they know something. It seems like sometimes we get in front of these reports, they kind of lean one direction or the other, like they know something some days. But who knows? But yeah, this December report is really it's the ultimate boring report of the year.
And the livestock market's a bit firmer here this morning as well.
From the highs that we made end of September into the first part of October, live cattle and feeder cattle have just gotten really sold off here, and I think we're maybe we actually had some pretty good sell off in live cattle yet earlier this week. Made some new lows. Feeder cattle did the same, but feeder cattle kind of holding here, kind of hold those lows for the week.
You're listening to the Red River Farm Network. This is Corn Matters, an update from the Minnesota Corn Growers Association. U.S. Grains Council recently completed a study partially funded by the Minnesota Corn Growers Association aimed at changing the perception about the quality of U.S. corn amongst international buyers. Here's U.S. Grains Council Manager of Global Strategies and Trade, Alexander Grebois.
As we look through this project, we wanted to look to benefit the U.S. farmer through improving the perception. Many people know when the corn will get to its international destination, some of the main concerns are regarding the quality as far as possibly broken corns or other factors. But what we're trying to show is that the soft endosperm U.S. corn is actually very beneficial in the poultry industry as far as feed efficiency as well as digestibility. And this creates a key competitive advantage for U.S. corn compared to that of other origins, which in the long run will benefit the U.S. farmer as we look to sell the product internationally.
The mission of the Minnesota Corn Growers is to identify and promote opportunities for corn growers. That's because Corn
3-1 Super Talk.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. Jane Link joining us from the Dakota Children's Advocacy Center. What do you do as an advocacy group for children? Right in the name there.
Yes.
Not hard to figure out. What are some of those roles that you guys take?
Sure. So the Dakota Children's Advocacy Center provides a safe place and services for children who have suffered abuse or neglect. The first reported case, from the first report of abuse, the child comes to our office to give their statement instead of the police station. It's a lot more child-friendly. Our forensic interviewers are trained. They know what questions to ask the child based on their developmental age. And then we work with law enforcement, social services, medical personnel. They're in another room watching the interview live. And we basically work together to get this child the healing and justice that they deserve. Before advocacy centers, the way things were set up, kids had to tell their story on average of 15 times to maybe, a well-meaning school counselor, then a well-meaning police officer, a different detective.
Kind of a chain of command thing.
Right.
And you had to work up the food chain.
Exactly, and it would keep repeating their trauma, and then it would reduce case outcomes because a 6-year-old might change one little detail, and then the case is dismissed. So our goal is they tell their story 1 to 2 times in our safe environment, and then we handle everything for them. So that's kind of one part, and, obviously a huge main part of what we do. And then we also do mental health therapy for children who have been through some sort of trauma. It's a different than a regular therapy center in that it's evidence-based. They're with us for on average 4 to 8 months, once a week, really process that trauma, get coping skills to move forward. And even though we are the Dakota Children's Advocacy Center, we do also provide mental health therapy for adults. Sometimes it's the mom or the dad of the child who suffered abuse. We want to help the whole family. And then we do prevention education in the community. You really can't prevent child abuse, but we can educate on it. And so prevention education is something that we're really growing. We just recently added a full-time prevention and education specialist. And so we are really just hoping to kind of train the trainers, get out there as much as we can to help.
I'll argue with you a little bit because I think you can prevent some because the education piece is important. So
yes.
And the numbers bear this out. When you look at it, there's a cycle, and there's a cycle that needs to be broken. If that's all a child knows growing up, then the odds of that child continuing that cycle as an adult far greater. So there is an opportunity to break that cycle, and it's the educational piece.
There is. And even just getting these children and families to our center. I mean, either way, all of, our numbers are high, and all this bad stuff happened either way, but if we can get them through our doors, we can really start that road to healing and justice. So you're right, and that's, part of it is it's a community response that can help prevent child abuse. It can't just be one person, and so it definitely takes the community. And we're grateful that we have the support we have, but we're also looking to grow.
Well, speaking of growing, you guys just expanded into Jamestown earlier this fall, late summer.
Right. So our main center is in Bismarck, and then we have our satellite location in Dickinson that's been open for a couple years. They do outreach into Watford City. And then we expanded from our Bismarck office by opening an outreach center in Jamestown. And we also have an outreach center on the Standing Rock Reservation. So that means it's not fully staffed, open every day, but it's set up for us to do these interviews, and our staff travels there. And that way, law enforcement, social services, the family, they don't have to maybe take a whole day of traveling to, really talk about something that's really hard. And so if we can take a little burden off by even just the traveling and maybe the amount of hours a day that it takes to do the interview, that's why we have these outreach centers. And they're needed. We serve right now about 65% of the state. We just ran our numbers a couple days ago, and we're at over 1,000 individuals served in 2023. That's definitely an increase from last year. And so we're just, again, doing everything we can to make sure all these children are heard and get the services they deserve, no matter where they live in our state.
You brought up some of the numbers, and on the surface, that's a big number. It's a bigger number than what people realize because that's just on the surface. There's a lot under the surface.
Definitely. And, people get maybe a little emotional, or it's a little hard to hear that, as of, December 3rd, we have served 1,000 individuals. We say individuals because some of those are adults, but over 800 of those are kids. Many of them are under the age of 6. I mean, it's hard to hear. But like I said before, either way that stuff is happening. And if we can help them, we know it makes a difference. It makes a difference, obviously, with, maybe that alleged offender to get that person, behind bars. And it also makes a difference just for the child and the family to be heard and get on that path to healing.
So most often we think about sexual assault in cases with children involved in this space, but that's just one aspect of it.
And it's a big part of it. It's about 60 to 65% of the kids we serve are sexually abused. And then the rest is physical abuse and neglect. Not every child that does therapy with us had a forensic interview. The law enforcement, aspect might not be involved. They might just have suffered some sort of trauma. Maybe they've, witnessed abuse or witnessed, death, and just they're needed for a witness statement. So we also take those statements at our center and then kind of, again, help all children and adults that are going through some sort of trauma and really focus on dealing with that trauma and moving forward.
Especially coming out of COVID, we've seen a lot of onus put on the mental health side of things in society now. Talk a little bit about, you mentioned the physical, the sexual, we know about that, the mental health side of things for kids, because at a lot of the ages you work with, extremely fragile.
Definitely. And our numbers, during COVID went down just because like everywhere, there wasn't as many adult eyes on children, and so there wasn't as many reports made. After COVID, our numbers definitely spiked up, and I think just in general, a lot of people acknowledge mental health a lot more, and that it's a real thing, and it's okay to get help. And we've always believed that, of course, at the Dakota Children's Advocacy Center, but it's became really important to help these children and their caregivers, because it starts at home. If you don't have a healthy mom or dad, how can we expect that child to be healthy? So we really try to provide services for the whole family, and things as simple as tangible items that might just take a little relief off the family. We have a full closet of caring for the clients we serve, where they can come in and maybe just get shampoo and conditioner, diapers for the baby, kind of any just kind of little relief that we can help with the everyday burden.
We're talking with Jane Link, Dakota Children's Advocacy Center. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. When we come back from the break, we're going to check in with Major Nelson. Of course, the Operation Christmas Morning kicking off this morning at 10 a.m. at the Kirkwood Mall at the Shields entrance inside. We'll check in with Major Nelson from the Salvation Army coming up next. And we'll get back our conversation with Jane. Jane, thanks for joining us this morning on Super Talk 1270.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
The Todd Starnes Daily Update, weekday mornings at 11:30 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy, just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty, Peak Automotive and Service, and Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Bakken, and we're talking with Jane Link, Dakota Children's Advocacy Center. They just expanded into Jamestown last fall, and because the need's there. So, of course, Bismarck is the home location, some satellite locations in Dickinson, now Jamestown, but outreach across the entire state. And unfortunately, we're in a place that the numbers drive that you need that support mechanism in place. You mentioned eyes on kids, and coming out of COVID, with COVID, there weren't as many eyes on kids. And most notably, I'm thinking about the educational side. And education, teachers, staff play a big part of identifying when a child's in a crisis situation.
Exactly. From a teacher to the school secretary to even, if a kid rides the bus driver. And so it really is important, to have these eyes on children. And like you said, during COVID, we had a decrease in the amount of reports because a lot of our reports are from school counselors, teachers, coaches. And so we work very closely with, all educators, and with our new prevention and education specialist, we are implementing some train the trainer programs and really trying to get more information to every school across the state. I mean, we want a child who's, going to school in New Salem or, Strasburg, to have those educators have the same education and resources to help children as well. So we're really excited to kind of expand our education, which can hopefully really help with prevention in our state. So we definitely, again, rely heavily on educators. So before advocacy centers, the police would maybe have to go to the school to pull a kid out to interview them. And if you can imagine, that's pretty traumatic, having a police officer come to your school. Kids are talking. What is Jimmy being talked to about? And so we've really removed that piece by doing the interview at our center. They're brought with either foster care, social service workers, or a non-offending caregiver brought to our office. They don't even see law enforcement or social services if they're not involved. They're in a different room. Our center is really child-friendly. We know it's a place you hope you never have to use or be at, but if you are there, I think we make you feel as comfortable as possible. So, definitely a way to really understand what we do is to, we do have an interactive tour on our website, or we encourage tours at our center. Of course, we do it when there's not a forensic interview, which we do a lot of forensic interviews. This week alone, we had 8 at our Bismarck Center, 2 canceled. We would have had 10. So it's a high traffic place with, not only families coming through, but like I said, law enforcement, social services, medical personnel. But I encourage you to reach out, and if you have an interest in helping this, child abuse crisis, we'd love your help. And a lot of times, if you really understand who you're helping, you're more apt to help. So, if we don't have a forensic interview scheduled, we give tours, and then it's really easy to see how our services work. And, we can provide an avenue for people to help, whether it's volunteering, donating dollars, donating goods to our closet of caring, following us on Facebook, sharing a Facebook post, simple things really that can really affect us and the kids that we serve.
One of the other things you mentioned, too, is some of those numbers about the abused knows the abuser.
Yes.
And the first thing that popped in my head, because a lot of people don't know the trafficking side of things. And the number one trafficking, because you think about, trafficking, prostitution in the state of North Dakota, but you think probably not what's really out there, because the number one trafficking that we have is familial.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A family member is trafficking usually a child. And that scares the hell out of me.
It's hard to hear.
It's
for a lot of people, you can't imagine it, but it does happen. And we have trafficking victims, children that come through our office. We work, with the 31-8 project. They really obviously take a huge role in that. Just yesterday, 31-8 project was at our office bringing us a load of bravery backpacks, to help us with the kids we serve. But that's a huge part of it is it's really not stranger danger. Things we were maybe taught, when I was younger. It's more, it's family members and close family friends and people you trust. And these kids get really, a lot of them get groomed where they, maybe they did something that was a little bit breaking the rules. Maybe they had a cigarette with an uncle and then that leads to them having something against them. They think they're going to get in a lot of trouble because they smoked a cigarette, and then it goes on and gets really further down the line where these kids end up having a lot of guilt and a lot of shame, and they think they did something wrong, or they if they wouldn't have done A, B wouldn't have happened. So it's a cycle that's really vicious, and we really try to educate the kids that we serve through that medical exam part, and with our medical examiners, they don't just perform an exam, they really provide education to the children. And then we work with the families on that as well.
Law enforcement side, because, of course, to break the cycle, in most cases, there needs to be law enforcement action involved.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that relationship with law enforcement, because those that may not be familiar with this, there's a lot of moving parts. And
there are.
If you're going to try to get a case to break a cycle or get a child out of a bad situation, there needs to be law enforcement action. It needs to go through the legal system, and a lot of pieces have to build that case.
Definitely. So we call it our multidisciplinary team, and that's our team from, again, law enforcement, social services, medical personnel. So, again, all of the children that come for a forensic interview, they have already had a report filed with law enforcement. So our interviews are all scheduled through law enforcement. They're, a huge part of how we serve the kids that are through our office. They're watching that interview live in a separate room. As soon as that interview is done, it goes right to the detective's desk, right to our forensic interviewer's desk. Sometimes there's an investigation right away. Sometimes there's an arrest made after the interview. Sometimes, it's maybe something that they're just keeping their eye on. And so, and then we work with law enforcement on the court process, on all of it. We have, different heroes of the month at our center, and, we could nominate 20 law enforcement members every month for the work that they do. And so huge partners of ours.
And that's the hard work. I've got many friends in law enforcement, and when kids are involved in situations that are bad for the kids, emotionally, that's the hard work for law enforcement. That tears
it really
them off.
is. And even our prevention and education coordinator, one thing that she's doing is really we're trying to give kind of a soft educational landing to a lot of new police hires that they might be coming to our center for a forensic interview, and they've been on the job a few weeks, and imagine hearing about a 5-year-old that was sexually assaulted. And so we're really trying to also help law enforcement with kind of some of that
not
onboarding.
A big chapter at the police academy. That's not
right.
a big. It's a little out of what you think traditional law enforcement is,
right.
With those domestic situations, and those are the ones that always go south. Those are the ones that are the most potentially dangerous situations for law enforcement.
Yeah, and we can't thank our law enforcement enough for being our huge support and partners, and we really are also trying to just provide resiliency training for them. They see, like you said, so much, and they're human, and so to not have support would not be good. So we really try to make sure they also have the resiliency training and coping mechanisms, and anything that we can do to help our team. Certainly we try.
We're talking with Jane Link at Dakota Children's Advocacy Center. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
When you make decisions for your company, you look for the no-brainers. If you have a lot of mailing to do, Stamps.com is the ultimate no-brainer. Use the Stamps.com mobile app to mail everything you need to keep your business running with up to 89% off USPS and UPS. Make the same no-brainer decision as over 1 million other businesses with Stamps.com. Use code PROGRAM for a special offer. That's Stamps.com, code PROGRAM.
Bundy.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Bach, along with Jane Link from the Dakota Children's Advocacy Center. And, we learned a lot in just the very tip of the iceberg. But, with all the work that you do, and people go, well, okay, where's the funding come from? Yeah. Not a government agency, not a big tax suck. No, you guys advocate as a nonprofit for the kids and for people that are in bad positions because it's the right thing to do. And that takes fundraising. And so one of the things that when I was mayor of Bismarck, I started Capital City Christmas for arts and humanities projects that are not associated with tax dollars, things that are good for the community. Mm-hmm. This is something that's good for the community. We've actually partnered up with you guys this year for some of our events and the New Year's Eve Gala, and we're actually using your 501(c) this year for our fundraising efforts. So a really good partnership there, but you've got a lot of great partnerships in the community. You've got a lot of great corporate sponsors, a lot of great entities, a lot of great police, education, partnerships everywhere, because when you start talking kids, it flips a switch in a lot of people, and for the right reasons. Exactly. It really is, I don't want to minimize that it's easy to get support, but really, if people learn about us, they want to help us. Being that, nonprofit, we don't charge families for $1. If they have insurance, we'll bill insurance, but they don't pay anything out of their pocket. We have a huge budget. We get, a little bit of state and a little bit of federal funding, but a lot of our support comes from foundations that are just, right here in our city and state. And then just, partnerships and events and private donors, things that really, we have to continue to do what we do every day. And then not just, the dollars that these events or things bring, but just the awareness, like partnering with Capital City Christmas. We've really enjoyed being part of Breakfast with Santa, that tree lighting, just some things that we can even share with our families, and we're able to maybe get them involved and having our team involved. That's been really great. We're looking forward to New Year's Eve with Capital City Christmas. And then, we have a lot of, just
businesses that reach out. Hey, do you need help decorating for Christmas? Bravera Bank sent employees over for that, and they help deck our halls. Little things that really make a big difference for us. Each year I have a pretty big number that keeps growing that I have to raise on the fundraising side. So again, some of that is just through individual donors that, maybe they do want a tax write-off since we are that 501c3. Maybe they've been through something and they, a lot of people just want to give back. And then we have our events. We have Giving Hearts Day, which is a big fundraising for us.
Sooner than we think. February 8th.
February 8th.
That's right around the corner.
Yes. So last year we made about $36,000 on that day. I've set a lofty goal of $50,000.
Wow.
So on one day, which is a lot, but our community is really wonderful. So we're looking forward to that. And then
mark that down on your calendar for Giving Hearts Day, and make sure that Dakota Children's Advocacy Center is one of your options, because a lot of people give to a lot of different charities.
The average is 6 on that day. Yeah, it's not a competition. It's just a big region-wide day of giving, and so many ways to get involved. Even just having your employees wear red and maybe spreading the word on Giving Hearts Day. I mean, so many ways to get involved with that. And then we're really looking forward to, as you were involved last year, Steve, last year was our inaugural Wing Fling.
Had a blast.
It was a really good time. We sold out 200 tickets. This year we're kind of changing up kind of the seating, trying to have room for 300 because it was such a success that first year. We rent the BSC National Energy Center for Excellence, wings from 12 different vendors, beverages, music, auction.
Now, I'm going to throw Phil Bonatti from KX Sports under the bus a little bit, because I thought he could crush way more wings than what he did, and I was a little disappointed. So
it was very interesting to watch grown men cry over wings.
Yes.
But yeah, they actually had
They were hot. I sampled a couple because I wasn't in the competition because I was helping MC, but I tried a couple of those, and
yeah, you had to sign a waiver for some of those, but just so everybody knows, you don't have to eat the spicy wings. That is a special competition at the Wing Fling that you can choose to participate in. But yeah, Wings and Rings had a special atomic sauce, and you had to sign a waiver, and that was really fun to watch. And we it was a great night. And like how we kind of explain it is, a really fun night to support our serious cause. And so we're looking forward to having the second annual Wing Fling this year. We have it set for Friday, April 12th. So a little ways away, but we do have tickets on sale on our website. They're $50. We also have sponsorship options. And that is a way that, something as easy as buying a ticket and going to eat wings, you really are helping kids who are suffering from abuse just by supporting this fun event. So, I just encourage people to learn more. Obviously, we'll be talking more about it the closer it gets. But, the Wing Fling is something that really took off, and we're looking forward to having our second annual.
And a lot of great community partners that stepped up just from the different food booths and the things to do. And just events like that just show how great the community really is.
Exactly. We can't thank the community enough for, just supporting events like that. I know there's a lot to do and a lot to pick from, and it's sometimes hard to, maybe give up a few hours on a Friday night. And so we appreciate everyone that supports, whether it again is the Wing Fling, Giving Hearts Day, just maybe stopping in our office. We put on a couple golf tournaments, which I know we're not near golf weather yet. Yeah, just lots of different. If you want to learn more, you can, hop on our website, dakotacac.org. All of these events that we're talking about are on there. Reach out, give me a call, send me an email. Would love to visit if you want to learn more about what we do. We take, again, volunteers from families volunteer, National Honor Society students, businesses, individuals. Variety of different ways to volunteer, whether you're volunteering at an event, maybe on a committee, maybe helping us, restock our closet of caring. We have a therapy dog, Linus. He's a adorable mini golden doodle, and so he needs walks. I mean, lots of different ways to help us. Some people like to hold a goods drive for our wish list, something you can kind of do on your own. Organizations have done jeans days for us where we get some of those proceeds. I mean, every little bit really helps, support our mission.
So people want to get involved or want more information, website, Facebook, social media. What's the website again?
www.dakotacac.org.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Stop in, take a tour, find out what's going on and how you can help.
Yeah, we would love to share more with anyone that is interested.
Jane, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, Steve.
Jane Link, Dakota Children's Advocacy Center. If you want to get involved, just check out their website, check them out on social media, their Facebook page, all kind of places you can find out really what they do as a mission and how you can pitch in. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Talk of the Town.
When you make decisions for your company, you look for the no-brainers. And if you have a lot of mailing to do, Stamps.com is the ultimate no-brainer. It streamlines your processes to make your business more efficient, which makes you less busy. Mail checks, invoices, legal documents, and everything you need to keep your business running with Stamps.com. Seamlessly connect with every major marketplace and shopping cart. Schedule package pickups and see your cheapest and fastest shipping options from different carriers, with rates up to 89% off USPS and UPS rates. And with the Stamps.com mobile app, you can take care of mailing and shipping wherever you are. Make the same no-brainer decision as over 1 million other businesses with Stamps.com. Sign up with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. That's Stamps.com. Code PROGRAM.
Steve Bakken, weekday mornings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy, just get in line, it moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty, Peak Automotive and Service, and Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken, and Patience joining us in the studio today from Western North Dakota Honor Flight. Boy, what a great organization, and I was so. You have no idea how thankful I am that I was on that flight this fall. Amazing experience, and I've been to most of the monuments in Washington, D.C., Patience, but going with the veterans, it puts it in an entirely new light. So thanks for coming in today, because you guys have some great events coming up as well.
We do. Thank you so much. Yeah, that experience of, I'd been to all the monuments before, but going with the Western North Dakota Honor Flight and the veterans it's its own experience. You can't even explain it.
It's humbling is the only way I can describe it, but it puts it in an entirely different perspective.
Yeah, experiencing it with the people who those memorials were built for.
Right, and went through the experience that know the story behind those memorials, and getting to talk to those veterans too, and go, okay, you sit there and just hug a guy for 10 minutes who's breaking down because all of his buddies, he lost them all. It's just humbling, absolutely humbling.
Just walking that journey with them, and even just being an observer rather than a participant is its own experience. And I just can't say enough for Western North Dakota Honor Flight. And like for me as a veteran, experiencing that with older veterans, from World War II and Korea and Vietnam is an experience you cannot explain until you've had it.
My trip, because I was supposed to go in the spring, and then I got pushed back to the fall because my father-in-law, Wendy's dad, was going on that, and he was a veteran. He went with his buddy, so I had another little layer on top of that as well. But on that flight, I ran into so many people from the Bismarck Mandan area that I knew, and I didn't know their story. And then you get talking to them because they open up a little bit on the honor flight.
They don't share that story otherwise.
They don't. And I have all those good relationships I had are on a different level now because the people that I went on that trip with that opened up a little bit about their story. It's just, again, just an incredibly humbling experience. And anything we can do to help get those veterans connected to the honor flight and to the monuments, and it's
to the experience.
It's a healing process.
It just absolutely
truly is. So give us a little backstory on Western North Dakota Honor Flight before we get into some of the events, because you got Operation Christmas coming up, and I want to talk about that because the deadline's coming up on December 12th. little backstory for the Western North Dakota Honor Flight.
So the Western North Dakota Honor Flight is one of several hundred hubs to the Honor Flight Network. Honor Flight Network was created several years ago by veterans, seeing a need to bring our World War II, Korea, and Vietnam era veterans to see the memorials that were built in their honor. And it started with, bringing one veteran, then bringing two veterans, and then these hubs popping up all over the United States. And
because we started off with North Dakota Honor Flight over in the eastern part of the state, and the demand was there. We have so many veterans, and in North Dakota, we're so blessed to have such a connection to service with the military here in North Dakota, and the Guard, and everybody continues that service through the Guard or the reserves, and there was a need. Western North Dakota had a need, and Western North Dakota Honor Flight grew into that.
It did grow into that, and you pointed it out perfectly. Having these veterans travel to Fargo from Western North Dakota, that became a challenge. Mm-hmm. And so the Western North Dakota Honor Flight grew out of that, and we serve from Jamestown West and Jamestown North to Canada and Jamestown South to the South Dakota border. And getting those veterans connected to the Honor Flight is a goal, and it's pretty easy to do. You connect through our website. You can connect through our Facebook page, and right on our website is the application form. If you aren't comfortable filling that out yourself, get with a buddy, get with a friend, get with a grandchild, get with someone who may be more comfortable doing that, and they can walk you through that process. It's really simple. And we kind of have a motto. It's first to apply, first to fly. Now, there are some caveats to that, but, get your application in, become part of this. It's a life-changing experience.
I've talked to a lot of veterans that are like, do I qualify for this? I'm like, no, you do. And get on the list. I mean, that's it's part of the messaging that, no, you served, you're entitled to this.
Right.
Please fill out the paperwork and get on the list.
That's a misconception that you have to have served in the country of Vietnam, or that you had to have served in Korea or have served in World War II. And that's not how it works. We refer to it as World War II era, Korean War era, Vietnam era. And a lot of people, particularly Guardsmen, National Guardsmen, will say, well, I didn't really serve. Yes, you did. You served.
Yeah.
You served. Apply. It's, you served your country.
Well, I talked to one veteran that didn't think they were eligible because they were stationed in Germany during Vietnam. I'm like, no, you're part of the support. You served.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. You served in those years or that era, and you are eligible. And yeah, it's an experience like no other, and really get those applications in. That's what we need. We need to continue to grow this program.
And what's the website?
westernndhf.org.
It's pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
And it's a simple form, and if you have any problems with it, somebody will help you fill out the form.
Absolutely. And you can get a paper form and fill it out and mail it into us. We'll take it that way. Our phone number is right on the website. You can give us a call. We can walk you through the application.
One of the things you guys are doing, and God bless you for stepping up, 2 flights a year, which is logistically a little bit more difficult.
A little bit more difficult.
Costs a little bit more money, but that's where the fundraising comes in. And we're going to talk about an event you got coming up in January, but you've also got Operation Christmas going on right now.
We do. So it's Operation Christmas Cheer. And what we're looking for, we want to send a Christmas card to every veteran who we've flown on the honor flight. And it's a great opportunity for service organizations, confirmation groups that have servant projects that they have to do, school
class
groups.
Projects,
school groups, absolutely. So what the ask is...
If you're a business...
if you're a business...
Take 15 minutes out during a lunch break, and it's a great team-building operation.
It's an excellent team-building operation. It can be for service groups. This is the ask is that you write Christmas cards It doesn't have to be a physical card. It can be a picture, a poster, something that you do, and put it in an envelope and send it to us. Don't seal the envelopes inside the big envelope. That way we can add stuff to it. And the goal is to send one to every veteran who's flown with us so far.
How many veterans have you flown so far?
I believe the number is 322. I would have to look that up. Yeah, ballpark, but I believe it's 322. So we've had 3 flights so far. We have another one coming up, like you mentioned, in the spring, and our goal is 2 a year, and that's a big chunk of money. But
Operation
it's worth
Christmas
it.
Cheer. Get a card written to a veteran that's flown on the flight. Deadline December 12th.
Deadline's December 12th, and what we're asking is since we're sending it to the veterans, that you just address it, your message to dear veteran. That way we can make sure it has the ability to go to any of our veterans.
If somebody wants more information on this, of course, the Facebook page, great source. But if a teacher for a class project, they can go to the website, get all the information there, or contact you guys as well.
They can. And one of our board members, her name is Becky. She is the direct contact, and her phone number, she asked that we provide that phone number for people to get in touch with her. And this program is 701-400-8835. And she can walk you through Operation Christmas Cheer and how to get your cards developed and sent in. She'll have ideas for you if you're a service group, an organization, a business. She can help you with that.
And then AMVET's dinner and auction coming up January 17th.
It is. That's an exciting program that we've got going on. So we really love doing the dinners and the auctions because you see so many of the former honor flight veterans and they come in and they're excited. They talk to other people who are there about the flight and what they loved about it and how it was life-changing for them. And in addition, you get a great meal and you have the opportunity to bid on several auction items. And the auction items are donated by businesses, so we are always looking for auction
so you're still
items.
looking for donation items or
sponsorships, and that information is available on our website as well. But this auction, we're going to have live music. One of our board members has a DJ service, and so he's providing that for us. So it's going to be a fun, upbeat environment, and really looking forward to seeing a lot of the previous veterans on our flights and a lot of new faces as well.
Operation Christmas Cheer, deadline for writing those Christmas cards to the veterans that have been on the flight, December 12th. January 17th, the AMVET's dinner and auction. Put that on your calendar. You can get all the details on the website.
westernndhf.org.
All right, perfect. Patience, thanks for coming in today.
Absolutely.
This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken on a Finally Friday. Don't forget, we do have a winter weather advisory in effect. Expect the winds picking up again later on this afternoon, switching over to snow. We'll keep up to date with the latest weather information for you right here on Super Talk 1270. Joining us right now, Rick Ryder. Rick Ryder from our sister station, U.S. Country, US 103.3, and Operation Christmas Morning taking place at the Kirkwood Mall. Rick, I hear we're off to a great start.
We really are, Steve. I bet we've had at least a dozen people stop by and drop off gifts. We've got 2 big, giant boxes we're trying to completely load up here with gifts. And tell you what, there's a lot of needy children in the area this year, Steve, that need help. And to be honest, if we don't do something like this, Christmas isn't going to happen for them. I mean, imagine what it would be like. Think back to when you and I would, wait for that Sears catalog to show up and then pick out all of our presents, and then come Christmas morning, nothing's there. Well, that's kind of reality for about 600 kids here in the Bismarck, Mandan, and Lincoln areas. And, thanks to the generosity of our community, and we all know that Bismarck, Mandan, Lincoln, some of the most generous people in the world, we hope to make sure that all of those kids have a toy to open, something under the tree Christmas morning. So that's our goal. It's a one-day toy drive going till 7 o'clock tonight. and we're located inside Kirkwood Mall, right outside of Shields. So the entrance going into the Shields, not outside, but we're in Kirkwood Mall. And you'll find us here. We've got a big tent, a big Town Square Media tent. And the cool thing is, Steve, after you donate, we'll let you spin our wheel of giving. And we got a boatload of prizes on there, from Shields gift cards to T-shirts to mugs to cups to sunglasses, the can koozies, you name it. So we want to give back to you for giving.
So, Rick, teaming up with some great partners on this. Shields, of course, Kirkwood Mall is allowing us to be there. Town Square Media's got a great relationship with the Salvation Army. We talked to Major Nelson earlier this hour. But it's really about the partnerships and what those partnerships bring to the community. And the community really, the Bismarck-Mandan community, Lincoln, amazing when it comes to giving back. What are we looking for as far as toys? Unwrapped toys, of course.
Yep, unwrapped. That's a good question. You know, the one thing that I just keep bringing back, and I know from my experience from previous toy drives, the one age group that tends to get left out a lot are the teenagers, you know, and it's not fair to them, right? We want to make sure that they have something to open under the tree as well. So maybe think about them. So far, I'd say the majority of the toys that have come in, a lot of Barbie stuff, which is great. I mean, not much hotter at this point in time than Barbie. But, you know, maybe think of phone accessories or electronics or anything that a teen might like. And like I said, anything that you can do, no matter how big, how small, it will be greatly appreciated.
Great opportunity to give back. Rick Ryder and the entire crew from Town Square Media, all of our sister stations, are going to be at Kirkwood Mall right out of the Shields entrance in the mall throughout the day today. Rick, what are the times?
We're going till 7 o'clock tonight. So started at 10 and going till 7. And all of our staff will be out here throughout the day. In fact, I'll be closing down from 5 to 7. You know, this is typically maybe a little bit more of a slower time because people are at work, but maybe you're getting ready to go on your lunch break. We'd love to have you make some time, and you can maybe, you know, knock a couple of people off your Christmas list and do a little shopping at the same time, and then maybe buy a gift for a young child or a teenager. That would be appreciated. You can do that right here at the Shields, or you can drop a gift off from anywhere. That's fine too, just as long as it's new and unwrapped. But again, going till 7 o'clock tonight. You know, if you can't make it over your lunch hour, how about after you're done with work? We're going all the way till 7 o'clock, so that'd be a great time too.
Thank you, Rick. Operation Christmas taking place right now. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square Media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.